Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today we have another technique using the Stamparatus, and this one is going to show you how to use the large background stamps to create this piece of music paper here. This is the stamp I've chosen to use, and there are lots of others in the catalogue, and you'll be able to use the same technique for those as well. Now these particular stamps will fit on this large block perfectly. Now if you have a problem with gripping or holding, if you don't have a lot of strength in your hand, it can be quite difficult to manipulate these blocks. Plus sometimes if you don't get the ink equally over the stamp, you can find that you get pale parts in your stamped image. So this is where the Stamparatus comes into play and does a fantastic job. So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So you only need one of the plates, and because we're using a red rubber stamp, we don't need this foam layer. I have my magnets, but because we're going to use a quarter sheet of card, these tend to get in the way a little bit, so we're going to be using some washi tape. So as I say, I have a 1/4 inch sheet of card here, and I'm going to position it in the middle of my Stamparatus. I have some washi tape. I've just taken a length and I've just turned it over slightly just to give myself a little handle, and I'm going to just pop it on the corner down here, and then another one up here, and just making sure it's straight. Then with my stamp, I'm going to position it on my card, and I can just feel that's where the music starts, as it were, and I'm going to pop it there like that, making sure it's nice and level on top and to the sides. Then I'm going to swing this over and pick it up like that. Now my ink today is grey granite. It's a little bit softer than using the black, and I wanted a softer image. And I'm going to stamp all over my stamp here, ink all over my stamp, taking particular note to make sure I've got ink in the middle there. And then I'm going to flip it over and press it down firmly all over to make sure I get good transfer of my ink. Now here we go. So I've got a little bit of a dull patch here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and re-ink that part, and then make sure that I press a little bit more firmly here. Make sure I got the transfer going there. Heaps better. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so there's my stamping done. And I can see that I've got some ink on the base of my Stamparatus, but I can pick this up like this, and then using a Simply Chamois, so they come in this size. I've cut mine into 4. I find it more manageable. I can just go ahead and wipe the excess ink as well as off this. Now if I had several of these to do, I would just mark my position where my card was on here, and just change out to a new piece of card each time, and then I would be able to do a bunch of them. So we finished with the Stamparatus for a moment, and now I'm left with this piece of card. Now this is a 1/4 sheet, and you can see that where my washi tape is, I don't have any stamping, but my card actually has several layers, and so the layer that I'm going, this layer here is 3 3/4 by 5. So I'll be able to trim this down and lose these corners that aren't looking so good. And you just want to make sure that you don't cut this bit off, because this is like the start of the music. So I've already done that, and you can see I've got my piece here, and this is layered onto a piece of grey granite card, and that's at 5 1/4 by 4. I'm using my liquid adhesive, but you can use snail. It's just I prefer to use it. And then I've got some of this lovely cherry cobbler ribbon. It's like 1/4 inch, and I want to just make sure that I want this side rather than the X's side, and I'm gonna attach it with some snail to the back. And I do have videos on how I use my ribbon. And this time I'm going to put my ribbon to the bottom, and then I'm going to attach it to my card base with some dimensionals. Like this. Oops, thought I'd picked one up. I could use my piercing tool, that would be much better. And I'm going to attach that to the front of my card. The little devils are causing me a problem here. There we are. Still don't think that's off. Yes, it is. Alrighty, so that's just worked its way free. And I'll pop that there. Like that. I've already stamped my greeting, which comes from the Friendly Expressions stamp set here. And I've just cut it with the layering ovals and backed it onto there. And then with my leaf ribbon, I've just threaded some leaf ribbon through there like that. So I'm not going to finish off this particular card because the video is mainly about how to use the Stamparatus, but at least you can see how I built my card up. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this technique on the Stamparatus. I've got a link at the end below this video to my online store, where you'll be able to find the supplies, as well as to my blog, which will give you the dimensions. Well, thank you for joining me today. I've enjoyed sharing the technique with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.